KBLA Talk 1580 launched with a promise to give disenfranchised fellow citizens a voice in current political, economic, social, and cultural issues with an empowering, sustainable, and restorative language.
Everybody's gotta live a life under the sun, under the sun, under the sun.
As we enter our third year, we are delighted that KBLA Talk 1580 consistently emerges as the talk station of choice for African American listeners. In a vigorous public opinion research study, the 2023 African American Media Issue Survey finds that for the second consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 remains the most trusted, credible, and reliable media source in Southern California for African Americans and beyond. Furthermore, 80% of those surveyed agree that outlets like KBLA Talk 1580 provide honest and authentic content about the issues most important to the Black community directly from Black journalists who understand the issues that need to be addressed. At KBLA Talk 1580, we remain committed to curating conversations that matter to you. Thank you for your continued support. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. The station that sounds like the city looks. The city looks.
Saturday morning, clean up the house music. Shout out to the Whispers and Solar Records. Just keep on loving me. I told you I know my music. Shout out to Andy. You know, listen, you are checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580, home of the VIP section where chair dancing is allowed and encouraged. We get lit from the chair, twisting and turning. Shout out to all of that. Thank you for locking in. We are at hour 3, the final hour, you know. What's up, Andy?
Hold on, Jill.
What's up?
Hold on, Jill. It's late night, you feel me? It's your Friday night.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? This is what, the VIP hour or whatever?
It is. After hours.
So I got to ask you.
Okay.
What libation do you have in your hand? What concoction do you have in your hand? Not literally.
Oh, I'm like water.
Not literally, but you know what I mean.
What do I drink? So I'm a fruity drinker, right? So I like fruity stuff, but if I'm going to drink, you know, like some brown or something like that, I want like a sidecar with Hennessy, something like that, little sugared rim.
For, the ignorant folks who don't know what a sidecar is. I've heard about it. What's in a sidecar?
A sidecar, it's really tasty. So, again, this is my thing. It has a cognac.
Okay.
So, I get mine with Hennessy. Orange liqueur. Some lemon juice. Right? Little sugar on the rim.
Okay, that sounds fire.
It's shaken.
Okay.
Right? Pour it over ice. It's
nice.
Really quite tasty.
Okay.
You know? So, I like that.
I'm going to have to get me one now.
Yep, you got to check it out. You got to try it. They're tasty. If I'm on a late night, I will go old school, back in the day, 90s cocktail and get like an amaretto sour or a Midori sour. Like if I just want to look like I'm drinking, but I don't really feel like drinking, I'll go for that. I take tequila shots. So, you know, load it up.
No wine for you?
I like Rieslings. It's funny, like I'll do a red occasionally, like depending upon the meal. But I like light and fruity stuff, so I really enjoy Riesling. So get a nice Austrian Riesling, and I'm good to go.
Were you? Did you rock with Bartles and James?
I did not. That was a little before my time. Okay, I know I'm classic, but I am not that classic. Don't do me like that.
Cisco?
Don't do that.
Was you Cisco?
I remember Cisco. I think I want to say Cisco or Boone's Farm. Strawberry Hill Boone's Farm. Those were probably maybe the first libation.
That was juice.
That I tried. Listen, it didn't seem like juice to me. But so one of these random facts about me. I didn't, throughout my 20s, I wasn't really a drinker. not for any particular reason. I just didn't. I think part of it was that I was the driver of my friend group when we went out. So again, I mean, I told you guys, may not have worked for y'all, but the little egg cracking in the skillet, this is your brain on drugs, that worked on me. And all of those after school specials, like, you know, with the kids drunk driving and things like that, I was very much not wanting to be, you know, in that was really my concern about it. And then too, I had a couple of friends that, like, I think when we were in high school, kind of started drinking and stuff, and I didn't like how they acted when they got drunk. And so I was like,
So then what changed?
it's not really just growing up being actually this is gonna sound crazy, work a lot of times, because I worked in entertainment. I worked at entertainment companies. We did a lot of events that were at night, you know, clubs, different things like that. And what I can say, and this is not just in entertainment, it's across the board, but it's something I noticed. When you don't drink and you are in environments when people are drinking or they drink a lot, it kind of makes them uncomfortable. Or it makes them off, you know, it makes them feel weird. They're like, you know, why aren't you drinking?
Yeah,
or
because it looks like you judging them. Low-key.
Right. And it's like, it's not even anything like that. It just, it wasn't even that big of a deal. It just didn't go down. So, I mean, I would nurse a drink all night long, but you know, it wasn't any particular reason other than I didn't want to be like lit, sloppy drunk. Like that didn't seem appealing to me. And, you know.
So you never had that experience before?
Have I ever been sloppy drunk before?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have, but I didn't. I'm saying when I was like in my 20s or late teens, I didn't want it then. I didn't want to be, you know, around that. I was really concerned about driving.
She was a strong woman.
And, you know, I was like, I'm not going to rock it. And then plus two, just being honest, alcohol was nasty to me. So I was like, what's the hype? If I got to pour half the bottle of orange juice into it or whatever, pineapple juice to make it taste right, you know, I think, what was the drink when I was young? Pink panties.
Pink? That's so, I was just about to ask you about that.
Yes. That was like my little starter drink.
Fire.
Like, oh, you know, you got all the whipped cream and make it all taste fruity or whatever.
Couldn't do gin, but yeah.
Well, I think we would do it with vodka.
Y'all would do it with vodka?
Yeah.
I did it with gin.
Wasn't, I think like gin is something that I just in the past few years have started touching on. Gin.
Disgusting.
And I guess whiskey, but it's not really for me. But if you mix it up with enough fruity stuff, it could be. So
Hilarious.
That is the key. Prester John in the chat says, "What's up, Whispers?" And he said, Gen X, we grew up on sugar and artificial flavorings and Flintstone vitamins that we secretly used to overdose on. So that tracks, because I definitely would be jacking up them Flintstone vitamins like they were chalky as heck, too.
Y'all talking
Just
about
dust.
Flintstone vitamins. What about Diamond Tap?
Oh, my God. That's the like if you were sick and stopped up, right?
That was the grape flavored one.
That stuff would lay you out.
No, would it?
That wasn't the Diamond Tap, wasn't the one that would lay you out and make you have you go to sleep?
That was NyQuil that would knock you out. Diamond Tap did not, at least for me, I don't
didn't
think
do anything?
Diamond Tap didn't have that. It was bomb. It tasted like candy so much.
The grape flavor. What is it about grape flavor? Grape is either incredibly nasty or incredibly amazing.
Grape
and
soda.
Never really tastes like grape. Doesn't taste like a batch of grapes.
None of them fruit flavored drinks taste like the actual fruit.
I think strawberry kind of generally tastes kind of strawberry, the thing-ish.
If you get you a nice little ripe strawberry, then yes.
You know.
A lot of strawberries be tart sometimes.
I like a little tart fruit. You know, I like limes. I like lemons. Give me a watermelon, fruit punch, Jolly Rancher, something like that.
By the way, I'm a Long Island guy, by the way.
Are you?
Yeah.
Long Island iced tea? Okay.
For me, it's all about the effect.
And you like it in the long glass? Like,
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter? You
Doesn't
just,
matter at all. It's
So-
about the effect for me.
do you drink it? Do you ever drink, okay, what goes into Long Island? What is it?
It's vodka, tequila, I want to say gin, and rum.
Right. So do you drink any of those straight or only in that combination?
I'll drink anything straight. My favorite is rum.
Okay.
So give
Really?
give me a Bacardi Gold. Not Malibu, not the sweet rum. Give me that Bacardi rum.
Dry.
And then, of course, I mean, I'm a Douce guy. I like Douce.
Okay.
I think
okay.
Douce is better than Hennessy, to be honest with you.
Okay. You know what I like putting Douce in? I make sangria. So I
Ooh,
drop
okay.
Douce in my sangria, the little orange mango juice
fire
to go
right
along
there.
with it. And let me tell you, just giving out all my secrets, but let me tell you what cheap wine works pretty well with it. Snoop's Cali Red.
Really?
Yes, it made for a fire sangria.
Okay.
Super fire.
Taking notes.
So, anyway, now that we've had the libation conversation, when we come forward, we will have our discussion on respectability politics to a degree about, Instagram models, baby mamas, and all of that, gold diggers. We're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about J. Cole and his comment about female rappers. And, we're getting ready for the weekend. So I got some tips on what you should watch coming into the weekend and headed into next week. All that and more, you are checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Dominique DePrima, KBLA Talk 1580. One of the most important details of running a business is managing cash flow. In fact, it's key to maintaining your company's health. Putting cash flow management before profits using dedicated software can help you drill down to the details that let you see the bigger picture. Having that clearer outlook makes for a stronger business. Whatever your business's financial goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Initiatives can help support you in reaching them. Access your financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Los Angeles Urban League helps African American and others in underserved communities achieve true social parity, economic self-reliance, and civil rights. For over 100 years, Los Angeles Urban League has ensured our communities have access to careers with living wages, opportunities to start and grow businesses, and clear pathways to personal and professional growth. Programs like BizCamp, Construction Career Academy, Bob Business Ready, and B-Warp. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Program are examples of the ongoing events designed to make our centennial mission to rebuild Black Wall Street right here in LA a reality. To sign up for our newsletter or to support the Los Angeles Urban League with your time, talent, and donations, visit laul.org. That's laul.org. The Los Angeles Urban League is a proud sponsor of Urban Family Focus, Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KBLA Talk 1580.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, it's Jill Munroe. You are clocking in with RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. VIPs, I see that you guys are getting lit in the chat. Sharing, T. Sworn said, Well, I guess actually Tony Yayo brought up Mad Dog 2020, which I have never partaken in. Prester John says Mad Dog 2020 would have you on Van Ness fighting your best friends. I have no idea about that life. I am not participating. I'm not even down with all that. But it sounds like Prester John had an interesting childhood. He said he didn't eat fruit. They only had fruit roll-ups. So, look.
I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at you.
So, I mean, I suppose Mad Dog 2020 would have you out there wilding out. You will have no greens to balance it out.
I will say the Mad Dog 2020, the equivalent of today, well, maybe not today, like 10 years ago, was the Four Locos. I don't know if you're familiar with the Four Locos.
I remember Four Locos. So that's a why. It's a why. Why are you putting that in your body?
Facts.
Why are you even thinking that makes sense? Why are you advocating for that? Yeah. All of those are whys. Terry asked me if I had ever tried an Irish drink. He said Long Island was his drink, like Andy, but I wasn't sure what an Irish drink was. He says it started in Fisherman's Bay in San Francisco. It's 1 cup of coffee, a shot or 2 of Irish liquor. See, I don't drink coffee, so that definitely would not be for me.
Have you ever had what is that, Kahlua, I think?
Kahlua and cream?
I think that might be close to what Terry is talking about.
Okay. So I have had a Kahlua, but I mean, I don't know. Milkshake alcohol seems kind of weird to me, and that's always what I felt like. It
was a thing while I was in college that people would pour a little bit of alcohol in their coffee. And I was just like, how do you do that? Like, does that not mess with your stomach? Like, you don't feel sick after that?
That seems like that would be a lot of rumbly-tumbly issues.
Facts.
Maybe you're going to have extended visits to the bathroom issues. I'm not sure. I just don't think coffee and alcohol make a good mix. And I don't think your stomach would appreciate it either. But, maybe I don't know.
We got some alcoholics up in this chat.
I mean, they are going in. They are going in with T. Swarns mentions a silver satin and Kool-Aid was a hood. Silver satin and Kool-Aid. What is that? I don't even know what silver satin is. Do you know what silver satin is? I've never heard of that liquor.
Yeah, I think it was before my time, but I've definitely heard about a silver satin. I don't know what the contents are.
Okay, is that something that was sold right next to Colt 45 or something like that? Billy D talking about it? I don't know. That sounds a little. Prester John says Cafe Du Monde coffee out of New Orleans. I've been to Cafe Du Monde strictly for the beignets, but like I said, I don't do coffee. It's not my thing, and so shout out to you guys that do, But coffee and alcohol, that has to be a hell no for me.
Mary Jane, whole different story though, huh? But that's a topic for another. We talked about that yesterday.
That's not today's topic.
I know we talked about that yesterday.
That's not today's topic. Well, I know in all of this heat that everyone probably needs, something to cool off. Do you drink alcohol when it's as hot as it is? I often wonder, some people will abstain from alcohol when it's hot because they think that adds to it, makes it a little wiggly. So wondering about that. But just in time for the summer, our power prices are rising. We had the thing back in December where because it was so cold, we had to use extra heat and everyone's heating bill and gas bill went up. Well, now because of the unprecedented heat wave that the entire country is going to, electric grids are stressed out and prices are going up. So basically, since earlier this year, prices have been up and down. They finally started evening out, but now our grids are all stressed out, so they're having to borrow electricity and redisperse it around. The average temperature over the next few days across is 35 degrees Celsius, which is, I guess, in the 90s for New York, LA, Chicago, and Houston. Phoenix is going to be up to 110. Our normal highs at this time of year are about 85 in New York, 83 in LA, 85 in Chicago, 95 in Houston, and 106 in Phoenix. So in addition to us being overcharged for it, you got to make sure that you have those periods where you keep it low energy so that your energy doesn't run out and you won't be sitting there in a heat bath. But expect higher bills. Be on the lookout for it. And like I said, do you utilize alcohol to keep you cool? Because I feel like that makes you hotter. I feel like that you're going to pass out if you drink alcohol that's not iced down and fruity. That's my response to it. Because alcohol can't really be frozen, right? So you could kind of have a slushy, but it kind of doesn't work. You can't really have an alcoholic popsicle because you can't have too much alcohol in it because it's not going to freeze. So do you still drink when it's hot?
Yes.
Yes, you're like, absolutely.
Doesn't matter if
Doesn't
it's
matter.
hot or cold.
Ice Cube's got you.
I'm trying to get messed up, man. That's it.
So this weekend, drinks, summertime, it's going to be hot.
Well, the fight is going down this
Right.
Saturday, so I think I will be indulging.
Okay, fight menu?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I got to see what the homie cooking up.
Okay,
if he is cooking.
All right, so somebody else is responsible for it, not you. Got it.
Not me.
Not you. Okay, Terry says, they're having a whole different conversation in the chat. Okay, I'm going to let them finish that and bypass it to something else because I'm unsure where that's going. Now, I promised you earlier that we would get into a conversation about Brittany Renner. I mentioned who Brittany Renner was. She was popular on Instagram. She used to play soccer for Jackson State. Cute girl. Think it was last year, maybe the year before. Prime brought her down to Jackson State to talk to the football team, to kind of talk to them about the distractions that they would face, about social media and dealing with women and the popularity of women on there and how that all went out. Well, Brittany has a son with NBA player PJ Washington. He plays for the Charlotte Hornets. And so there was a rumor that got started that PJ, I think they said he was supposedly dishing out like close to $200,000 a month. It was a lie, but it started a lot of conversation surrounding Brittany. And she was criticized as being a gold digger and all of these things because she had these relationships with these other famous athletes and whomever, and she wrote a book about it, right? But the thing about PJ is, one, he knew who she was, and two, he sought her out like a lot of these men do. Because here, I'm just going to say it. A lot of these athletes, we talk about the women, but these athletes are groupies too for the Instagram girls. They want to be with the ones that are most popular. They want to be the ones that are going to get their teammates' attention. They want to be with the ones that were with the most popular guy in the league too. It happens more than you think it does. So while Brittany was at Rolling Loud this weekend, a guy, walked up to her and for whatever reason started saying, yeah, you cool, but you trapped your baby's daddy. We don't really know why he brought it up. He just did. So her response was, I didn't trap him. And we know Brittany's a little tick, tick, boom. So she started untwisting the top of her water bottle in preparation to douse him with the water bottle. This is something that she's done before, by the way. And so the guy says, we can agree to disagree. And she looks at him and she's like, you thought I trapped him? And the guy is like, yeah. And so Brittany put this exchange on her Instagram and she said growth because she walked away and did not attack the guy for blaming that. But my question is sort of, why is it that the men who willingly participated, especially in this era, it's not where we're like 15, 20 years ago and you aren't aware of which girls are popping and rumored to be connected to whatever, or that these are the type of activities or men that they go after. So why is there never smoke for the guys for putting themselves in this situation? To me, if you know the value of your sperm, you know what it can cause, you know that it will be a payout that will go on forever and ever and ever, at least for 18 years. Why aren't you protecting yourself more? Why is it the expectation that you don't have to be responsible for these things? And then at what point is it, I know why it's everyone's business. We discuss everything. And when you put it out there, we want to be included. What happened? What's the resolution? We want to know what happened. We are invested too. But do you, I feel like it's not just men, but primarily men that feel very, very comfortable in telling a woman what her intention was, what she is worth because she made these choices, but not putting that same onus back on the man. Like, how do you feel comfortable stepping to her saying what her intent was when she got with this man and you don't even know her? She's a stranger, Andy.
It's a tough question to respond to. But I think the reason why the men don't get no smoke, I mean, we live in a patriarchal society.
Absolutely.
You know, that's one thing. I mean,
but here's the thing of this. When you hear these men complain about child support, right, the amount of child support they're hit with, to me, I feel like if I know, because in this instance, what they're saying a lot of times is, I'm the prize. I'm the championship. The guys are saying that, right? And to a degree, I'm not saying it is the case, but to a degree you understand because of the type of money and contracts that we're usually talking about in these situations.
Yes.
So in that aspect, but in that aspect, I understand that. So to me, if you know that, if you recognize that, why aren't you protecting yourself even a little bit? Because you see it all around you. You see all these people getting hit with this child support. How do you think you're invincible, especially if you were treating a woman as disposable? You can't expect her to turn around and want to care about your circumstance and how it will impact you having to pay all of this child support. And so I feel like at this point in time, we've seen Broke on ESPN. We've heard all the stories. We've heard what happened with Antoine Walker. We've seen the various situations. Even if you don't know who Sean Kemp was, you heard about his Sports Illustrated thing. I mean, these stories are repeated, and we have so many ways to access information, so many different options for you. I don't understand, one, still getting caught up, and two, the reaction of the men that aren't even involved in this. Why are you angry at her? Because she benefited. The guy that you're defending and protecting, he didn't think that much of himself to do that. So I'm just a little curious about that, I don't know.
You know, this individual who probably caught her out probably wished that he had millions of dollars to spend on somebody like her.
I felt like he wanted to be profound. Like how when you were a little kid and they said that the boys will pull the girls' ponytails or whatever, or hit them to get their attention. I think that is part of what it was. When we come forward, we'll get into more on Brittany Renner. We'll also talk about Floyd Mayweather calling out a lie. We'll talk about Drake and a purchase that he made. And we'll get into J. Cole's comments about females in rap. All this and more, you're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Governor Pritzker is pushing an effort to combat homelessness in Illinois. Pritzker says homelessness isn't just an economic justice issue, but a racial justice issue as well. Pritzker signed a bill yesterday aiming to move Illinois to functional zero homelessness by bolstering the safety net, targeting high-risk populations. And the report says San Francisco does not have the highest rate of homelessness in California. The report released Wednesday shows Oakland and Los Angeles have more people experiencing homelessness than San Francisco. New Jersey's first West Nile virus case this summer is confirmed in Camden County. A Winslow Township resident tested positive for West Nile on July 17th. Health officials aren't releasing details, but the CDC says the mosquito-borne illness can trigger serious illness and in some cases death. And that is the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do
do is call the accident guys.
Injured in a car accident or at work? Call the accident guys. Because unlike other firms, an attorney will negotiate your case, not a paralegal.
Gotta stay fresh, my house shot with a rest bar, shot with a rest bar, shot with a rest bar.
Have you visited us online for the grand opening of KBLA.store? For the best in new merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store. Be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all the official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580.
The bounce is back.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The rent is too damn high. KBLA joins you in calling for affordable housing. The LA Tenants Union is a diverse, tenant-led movement fighting for the human right to housing for all. The LA Tenants Union demands safe, affordable housing and union rent control. They organize against landlord harassment, mass evictions, and displacement, and mobilize for the repeal of the Ellis Act and Costa-Hawkins Act. The LA Tenants Union is on a mission to strengthen tenants' political power through education, advocacy, and direct action. To get help with your eviction or other landlord-tenant issues, take action for justice, or become a member, visit latenantsunion.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
I'm James Alexander, a proud member of AARP. 1967, I was 17. That spring, my friends, the Barcades, and I made Soulfinger. It was a hit. Number 3 on the charts. That summer, we became the great Otis Redding's band. First gig, the famed Apollo. That fall, we toured. That winter found me in a morgue identifying the bodies of my bandmates and Otis Redding. My music and their memories bring me joy. The Barcades forever.
What would you call a joy that is as solemn as it is sweet and knows no bounds? A joy that's beautifully rooted in soul and resilience. This is Black Joy, a joy that reflects pride and honor despite every challenge. AARP believes the power of Black joy is limitless, and we celebrate this joy supreme. Join us in celebrating Black joy at aarp.org/blackcommunity.
In our community, mental health struggles can sometimes go unnoticed. The suicide rate among Black youth has risen faster than any other ethnic group. Only 1 in 3 African Americans who need mental health care receives it. African American women are only half as likely as their Caucasian counterparts to seek professional mental health services. Even those who guide us spiritually can sometimes face their own challenges. 45% of pastors say they've experienced depression or burnout to the extent they need to take a leave of absence from ministry. As people of faith, it's time to acknowledge it's okay not to be okay. You can pray and get help. Visit normalizehelp.org for more information and resources. Join us in raising mental health awareness in our community. Funded by the Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health and the Champion Counseling Center of
Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Okay, with the D train.
Stand up on the cloud, shout out loud, what
Saturday morning park barbecue. I feel like a little kid hearing this in the whispers. Okay, chair dancing. Get into it. You're, on YouTube, vibe with us for a second. You were checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Andy is getting us set up, leading us into the weekend, because I'm not the same. Listen, this was the joint from the rain. Anyway, okay, because the chorus is about to come in and I'm going to go off, and I can't sing, but I'll pretend like I can. Makes you want to get your little, get your hot locking on and stuff like that. Oh, gosh. Prester John called it big wheel music. I agree. It definitely is. You're the one for me. Shout out to D-Train. They had a couple of hits, banging. I feel that. Roller skating music, all of that. Little 80s vibe for us real quick. Like I said, you are checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Now, the homie was kind enough to send me a guide to hood alcoholic drinks that I was not aware of, apparently. They said that I need to go east of La Brea, that I spend too much time west of La Brea, and that's why I wasn't aware. But they provided me with a list, right? A photo list to be exact.
Hold on. Is your homie from the east side? They're
not from the east side.
Okay.
They actually grew up on what is that? Arlington and Jefferson.
Okay.
Not like that, but they know what's up. They were all around the city. You know how that goes, all around. So they sent me a photo of Wild Irish Rose, which I've heard of, never tasted. Night Train, again, heard of.
Heard of Night Train, yeah.
Never tasted it. Thunderbird. The Thunderbird looks green here. Look, I've heard of it, never traced it. Night Train, I feel like, didn't they used to talk about that on Sanford and Son, like with Ripple? I don't know. I've never had these alcoholic beverages. There's a picture of MD-40, and there's a picture of Strawberry Cisco. I feel like the orange Cisco was the one that let me tell you what they used to mix it with. I remember, and somebody, maybe it was DJ Quick, had a song. There used to be, before Powerade and all of that, after Gatorade, there was this drink called Super Sacco, and people used to mix Super Sacco and gin, and sometimes with Cisco.
Yeah.
And they had the little guy on the bottle with the soccer ball, things like that.
What movie was that? Poetic Justice.
Oh, they had Super Sacco in there?
Yeah.
Okay, see, there you go.
Remember they went to the liquor store and Regina King.
That's right. That makes sense. Shout out to Regina King. Grew up not too far over here in Windsor Hills, Westchester High. Comment. T. Sworn says you're bumping that OG LA music tonight, though. And that is really what it is. Yes. So shout out to LA natives
and
in
the
Whispers
building. From LA, yeah.
The Whispers are from LA.
Yeah.
See, there you go. Scotty and what's the other twin's name? I think, is it Warren? I'm not sure. But shout out to the twins with those thick mustaches. They used to be grooving in step. Shout out to that. Well, speaking Wallace
Walter.
Okay.
And
Lavelle, that was the other guy, the taller one with the the poofy waves. Okay.
Yep.
Get it. All right. We know our LA history in here. One day, I'm gonna have to plan that out. We're gonna do a little deep dive into 80s LA music and that scene, because I think it's worthwhile going into, and I also think that it's something people don't talk a lot about. They know one thing. They know NWA. They know Dre had a group for half a second before that, but they don't know the bridge that got us there.
You know what? I think you need to do that, because I was today years old when I found out the Whispers were from LA. So I think it's necessary to do that for sure.
Absolutely. We're going to put that on the agenda. I mean, I think it fits. So we are talking about hip hop, so we have to mention, I mentioned last night, I think it was, that a hip hop artifact sold for $1 million at a Sotheby's auction. It was the ring that Tupac wore. It was a ruby and diamond encrusted ring. It said Dada and Pac on the inside of it, 96, shouting out Kadada Jones, who was his fiance at the time of his death. Well, there is speculation on who purchased the ring. And it's someone involved in hip hop, someone that has been known to purchase other hip hop artifacts and collectibles, and someone that is currently on tour. Who do you think that could be? I wonder. I'm going to tell y'all. Champagne Poppy. It's looking like Drake might have bought Tupac's ring. You know, he has an Aaliyah tattoo on him. He has all of these different things. At this point, I think that Drake is like a human hip hop like museum. Homage. Something. I don't know. But shout out to him for, you know, having $1 million that he could spare on Pac's ring. It's a crown. It has like a ruby in the center, and it's like ruby diamond. Yeah. And I think that they said he was wearing it that fateful night. Not sure, but I'm sure if Drake has purchased it, we'll see it in a video or pop up somewhere. So, speaking of the rap game and Tupac, there were some reports that Floyd Mayweather claimed that he was a witness to Tupac's death, that he was somewhere around. But Floyd put on his Instagram that is incorrect. It wasn't really that way. He was just basically saying that he lived very close to where the incident happened and that he was around that time, but he didn't see it and witness it. So clearing that up, getting some of the hip hop facts, making sure that they are straight. Also, Young Miami, you know, she talked about that this summer is her last summer being outside. She says she's ready to take it down and settle down and shut it down. The thing that I wonder, though, why is it when every time someone talks about shutting it down or settling, and I shouldn't say settling, but settling down, I guess that's the phrase, getting into a more serious relationship, they feel that they have to cut themselves off from the world and never go outside. Y'all can't go outside and just chill? We can't just hang out and not be either ratchet and on tables twerk fest? There's no middle of the road that comes with this. It's only I'm at home doing nothing, or I'm out in the streets making everything go, you know, crazy. I don't understand that. I've never kind of understood that. I believe there can be balance, you know. Andy, you're contemplating.
I'm contemplating. I think maybe you just need to go to that extreme in order to make that change.
Okay. So an overcorrection to bring you back to center.
Yeah, I think that's what that is.
Okay. Well, we'll see if she really means it, if it really happens, or, you know, if it's just more talk.
But she probably wants to stay. She probably wants to spend more time with her boo thing.
Did he?
Yeah.
Are they still? I mean,
I don't know what their status is though.
I don't know. Diddy seems like he's on a different page right now, you know? And I think Diddy is going to be an eternal bachelor, maybe like Common, how we mentioned the other night, because neither one of them looks like they're ready to lock it down. Well, when we come forward, we'll talk a little bit about Benzino and what he had to say about his relationship with his daughter, Coily Ray, and we'll get into what J. Cole had to say about female rap. All that and more. You are checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Civil rights leader John Lewis honored with the Forever Stamp. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News. Civil rights activist and Congressman John Lewis was revealed as the late public figure who's being honored on the United States Postal Service newest Forever Stamp. Lewis, who died 3 years ago, is a civil rights hero who was in the United States House of Representatives for Georgia's 5th Congressional District from 1987 until his death in 2020. From the Nashville sit-ins in the 60s to the Freedom Rides to the March on Washington to being a pillar of the civil rights movement, Lewis was a force who deserves such an honor. And for $9.90 on USPS.com, you can purchase your book of 15 stamps that honors
here's the life and memory of Lewis. I'm Maisha Cairo for KBLA Talk 1580, and that is your K-Black Minute News.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried new Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
Hey, it's Jill Munroe. You are checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So I mentioned Coily Ray before we went to break. And, you know, her dad, Benzino, who is a former rapper, used to be the editor and owner of The Source, Love and Hip Hop ATL star, and all of that drama. They had beef that played out very publicly on social media. There was a lot of shade into it. But recently he's spoken out, and he says that they are in a much better place currently. And he also said that he doesn't mind the public saying whatever they have to say about him in general, but being called a deadbeat dad sort of hit differently for him. And I find that so interesting because the way that Coily explained their relationship, it seemed that they were never really that tight. He always was out and about in other things. So I don't understand if that is sort of the vibe that you carried throughout. And again, understanding at the same time, no one wants to be called names or shaded in that way. But if you admittedly weren't as involved in her life as you should have been, and you guys are having issues now, where is the confusion coming from? Like, I don't know. I just think that at his age, the fact that he allowed that to play out on social media with his child was really, really, you know, it kind of said a lot overall and sort of made me, and again, not having a dog in the fight, not really knowing fully the full details, kind of made me believe that her version of the events might have been more on point. Andy?
I'm just curious to know, would Coily Ray be where she's at if Benzino wasn't her father? Like, there's a part of me that feels like Benzino had maybe just a little bit to do with her career.
You think so? See, I feel like I don't feel like people cared enough about Benzino for it to make a difference for her. I don't feel like, especially at the time period where she started trying to step out, I think that there might have been some people that might have cared, like in an immediate circle type of way, but I don't think the general public really cared. I don't think the labels that she was dealing with really cared. I don't recall her ever being on Love and Hip Hop. Not sure, but I don't think the audience was checking for her. So while I think it's a nice dot, I don't know if it made that much of a difference, but that just could be me.
Yeah, I don't think it made much of a difference, but excuse me. When I first heard about Coyle Ray, I mean Benzino's name was just attached to it. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, Benzino had to have maybe opened up some doors or something to allow her to get to where she's at. I think there's a little bit of nepotism there, you know, not in the negative sense, but, you know, as bad as their relationship is, I don't know. I don't think it's as bad
As what it's portrayed to be.
Yes.
See, but you know what's interesting about that? I mean, I can agree with that. There are probably definitely some people that even if they didn't appreciate what she was bringing, probably at least wanted to see because of the connection. So I will give you that. But I also think that, you know, nepotism isn't always a bad thing. I think
Right.
that we've seen so many other people take advantage of it, but I guess I just don't feel like there's anybody really checking for Benzino or his raps or kind of anything of that nature. But I mean, it's certainly possible because a name is a name and people will clout chase and attach themselves to anything. So, you know, we'll see. I mentioned J. Cole. He had some commentary on what is happening with females and raps at this point. You know, Cole was featured on Kevin Hart's podcast, and shout out to Kevin Hart because he's been pulling it down. Recently, he's interviewed Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, now Cole. I think it was somebody else I saw him do an interview with. So he's getting all the big names. So Cole basically says, as much as you kind of maybe don't want to admit it or maybe don't understand it, right now, females are running rap and they have the better, you know, music selection at this time. So we keep having this conversation. We keep circling back to it. You know, I mentioned that there's Sweetie has a single that's dropping, well, already dropped. Obviously, Cardi is featured on Offset's Jealousy single. We also have someone else who dropped a single this weekend as well. So, Bia, she has her single coming out that features Nene Leakes in the video. So I'm just curious to see how this summer plays out and if there is a male that can kind of get back in the driver's seat and take the reins back. Not that we want you to take the reins back. I don't mind sharing. But I'm just curious to see what's going to happen because it seems like it's been a very down year for men in hip-hop.
You know, I saw a post on Twitter where it basically said that in the next 3 to 5 years, Afro beats will be the new hip hop.
Interesting. You know, there's been sort of a backlash, at least online, about Afro beats.
It has.
Which is interesting to me because it's a vibe, it's curious, and I thought everyone was loving it, but now all of a sudden I'm seeing all these memes. They're like when the Afrobeat song goes off and they play the regular music and stuff like that. So I'm just wondering where that's coming from.
I think it's coming from the reparations discussions as well. Too.
Okay.
So it's a cultural war thing going on.
It's the diaspora drama.
Bada bing.
Okay, I got you. That makes sense. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, me personally, I like some, but I like what we're doing here. Go ahead.
I just wanted to go back.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's interesting because nobody had that smoke for reggae or dancehall.
That is true.
And to me, they're kind of similar.
Yep. Little bit. I mean, I think that you hit the nail on the head when you mentioned the cultural difference in the diaspora. Just sort of where we're at right now as far as the culture, where we're really together but really not. It's such a weird thing. So there probably is a little jealousy, backlash, or just, you know, general, I'm not going to mess with that because of some other things. We'll have to see. I mean, right now they are kind of vibing the airwaves. So it's, you know, the women in hip hop and Afro beats. I don't know. We'll have to see where that goes. Well, I wanted to share this with you because the weekend is coming up. It's not open yet, but coming to Las Vegas in 2024 is going to be an adults-only 3-story mini golf venue. It's called Swingers. It's going to be 40,000 square feet, 5 putt-putt courses, live DJs, alcohol, and all that. They are targeting raising $52 million for expansion and hoping to open up 15 global locations by 2026. So I guess that means count your days, Top Golf. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. I still have not been to the Top Golf that is out here in LA. Got to go check it out. Trying to think about getting some type of golf game. We'll see if that actually happens, but I'm interested. I think I might be decent at it. So we are here at the weekend. I want to give you some things that you can check out while you are waiting for the return of RSVP with Jill Munroe on Monday. So over the weekend, you can check out, obviously, Spence versus Crawford is going down on pay-per-view Saturday, July 29th. We're going to see what the turnout is that. We know that there absolutely will be a rematch to follow up, but I want to hear about your fight parties on Monday. I want to hear what your menu was, all of that. Get it on deck. Underrated, the Steph Curry doc is available on Apple TV+. It is amazing. You should go check that out. Project Greenlight, A New Generation, is on Max. I mentioned that before. That has Issa Rae, and it's taking a new filmmaker and helping them put all the things together. There's a show called Minx. It's on Stars. It's season 2 of it. It originally debuted on, I think it was Hulu. Can't remember, but it's a show. It's a period piece. Takes place in the 70s, and it's about the rise of a magazine called Minx that is similar in style and fashion to Playgirl magazine, which launched in the 70s. So check that out if you're interested. And of course, you know, I gave you the list of things that were leaving Netflix, but you know what's soaring on Netflix? Suits. So if you never checked out Suits when it was on USA, check it out on Netflix. It is the #1 program streaming on them for this week right now. So make sure you get into that. I hope that you have had an amazing week checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe. Next week, of course, we will have more trending headlines, topics, interviews, and all of that good stuff. I hope that you have an amazing weekend. When you come forward, you will be hearing the best of KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Jill Munroe. You've been listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe. And have an amazing weekend. And if you decide to head outside and be outside, wear your sunscreen and make sure you're protecting yourself, because we want you back here on Monday with no problems and no potential paternity issues. Bye. I bet you